Welcome, my 191 subscribers, everyone who doesn't hate DDT just because some comedy wrestling happens in it, and everyone who watched Grand Ship and left unsatisfied. Welcome to my review of DDT Who's Gonna Top 2022. Let's begin. So I'm gonna have to say this now. The first 5 or so matches of the show aren't really pay-per-view quality. But I think this isn't supposed to be a pay-per-view. This happens in Karakan Hall. It's like a big show. But the main event, as well as the semi-main, like the last 2 title matches for the mid-card title and the world title, should honestly happen in bigger arenas. The main event I knew was gonna be good. It's Higuchi versus Takeshita. But I didn't expect it to be better than Keno versus Kaito. And like the semi-main, I had no expectations for. But it just manages to get beat a little bit by Keno versus Kaito. And they all destroy the rest of the matches in the Noah show. But the rest of the matches in the Noah show, like specifically the other second half matches, starting from the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championships, they all beat out the rest of this card. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, I'm gonna be going through the first 5 matches faster than a usual review because, yeah, they weren't that good. Honestly, I mean, the 2 before the semi-main were alright, but they weren't that special. And you're gonna find out why. Okay, so to start the show, we have a 6-man tag team match between the team of Asuka, Mao, and Saki Akai against Disaster Box with Kazuki Hirata and Towa Owashi, along with Antonio Honda, who's just the worst. The match is 7 minutes, but this is some silly shit that is beyond my tolerance. I mean, I can get into some silly shit in wrestling if it's within the confines of the match, just like Toriano stuff, or R-Truth, or any of those people, but I didn't expect it to be like this. I didn't expect that I'll ever watch something like this, where it breaks into a dance number, they get a messy pin, and then Asuka ends up in the ring in a kiss position and is woken up by the ref after, and things get weird. But yeah, I can't give this match a high score. It wasn't even a match. It was fun, but this match is just not for me. They have this dance number for some reason where opponents, teammates dance with each other. Honda and Owashi, I think, were the cupids while the rest were dancing. So yeah, this wasn't for me. I can even tolerate Pheromones matches. They're pretty funny. But this one is just no. And honestly, Mao could be used better, as well as the other women. And maybe Kazuki Hirata. But for Owashi and Honda, I don't know. So yeah, TV undercard match. It gets TV undercard, but even lower than that. It's a TV undercard match that's put in the dead period of the time slot and only lasts 5 minutes. So yeah, as for spots of the match, I guess the only spot of the match is Asuka remaining in a kiss position and then his teammates leaving her. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so after this is Yuki Sexy Ino versus Steve Aoki versus Shin Makatsumata. And Shunma's my favorite wrestler among these guys. And he did do very well against Joey Janela. But we go from a comedy match to another comedy match. But this one I can tolerate more. I like it better because it stays within the confines of the match. We also get a nice story that goes on, where Shunma allies with and breaks the alliance with both of his teammates. And then a top spot of the match happens when Aoki is pinning Ino, but then Shunma pretends to trip on the pin and then preserves the alliance. Shunma is the highest end dude in this match, and he's the guy who's pinned. And when Shunma tries to do this to Ino, he pays the price and then the butt stuff starts. So yeah, Ino does his shit to Katsumata. It's not very pretty. But then he gets what's coming to him when he somehow ends up on the top turnbuckle. And then Shunma launches party poppers up his ass. And that's not a euphemism. It's literally what happens. But then Aoki appears as a member of Pheromones and then pins Shunma. So yeah, this is weird. I like some parts of the match, but not all. Spot of the match is the trip on the pin, as well as the party poppers in the ass. That might have been the most painful thing to happen to anyone in this show, so yeah. TV undercard match, of course. So after this is the tag team match between the team of like the politicians, Osamu Nishimura and Shinichiro Kawamatsu. So legend wrestler Osamu Nishimura, underrated dude, takes this like outsider, this politician dude, Shinichiro Kawamatsu, under his wing. And what a great guy to learn from, because Osamu Nishimura is like super old, but he can still sell and do his moves really well. He can still do some nice technical wrestling. And this is Kawamatsu's largest test so far, because he's going up against Yukio fucking Naya, another one of my dudes. So we need a faction with Kazuyuki Fujita, Yukio Naya, and Tadasuke. That's gonna be sick. So yeah, Shinichiro Kawamatsu had a great debut in Peter Pan, and he carries it over in this match. He gets gassed by the end, like about in the 7th minute, and it shows, but it's to be expected. And plus, he's the big man of their team, so he's the one to go up against Yukio Naya. And he's wrestling in a suit. So he sells well for a politician, for an outsider. And then he also has some awesome facial expressions. His moveset is very limited, but he does it like really well. Especially the double axe handles to like his opponent's head. So they put him through the ringer, they beat the shit out of him. He manages to look strong as well, and he was in there for majority of the match. As for Nishimura, he's kept away from Naya, but he absolutely dominates Akito. So yeah, one of the best parts of the match is like the politicians double teaming Naya, as Naya is selling the shit out of Nishimura's offense. But eventually Nishimura is taken out by Akito, and it becomes a 1v1 between Kawamatsu and Naya. And then we get a great ending where like Kawamatsu is like desperately trying to like choke Naya. He's trying to like hold on, but Naya does a choke slam on him. He puts on like a modified abdominal stretch and then makes him tap out. Great finish, and this is the best match so far. The match with the politician and the old guy. So yeah, TV undercard, pay-per-view opener. And the top 2 spots of the match are like, number 2 is the figure 4 leg lock that Nishimura does and sells really well, and the finish. So yeah, and then after this is Damnation with Daisuke Sasaki, Kanon, and Minoru Fujita, who's wearing an awesome mask, but he looks better than he wrestles, against the team of Naomi Yoshimura, Yuji Hino, and Makoto Oishi. Holy shit. That was so far off. But yeah, they have a pretty good match. We know what to expect from a Damnation match. I've never seen Minoru Fujita before, but he's pretty underwhelming. Oishi is the whipping boy and has a lot of offense done to him. Hino looks awesome as the power guy. He delivers really stiff chops, flips a lot of birds, and has amazing in-ring charisma. I love when he just like spanked the shit out of Kanon. He overwhelms him and then is like too cocky about it. I think that's his downfall. That's how he lost to Sasaki in the tournament, right? But yeah. And as for Yoshimura, he's the best performer. He's the most capable in the ring. He can do everything well. Agility, hard hitting, and those sick judo hip throws. Sasaki is capable in the ring. He's more of a storyteller. He has in-ring charisma, but he does like the submissions really well. And also Damnation works so well as a team. They're a well-oiled machine, unlike a lot of Japanese tag teams that I know, especially Noah. And I'm not saying they're bad, I'm saying they don't feel like tag teams. Here they do team moves like it's clockwork. And even the guy outside, even MJ Paul, does a lot. But what I don't like about this is they just pull like shenanigans all of the time. And for this one, it was so dumb because the referee conveniently turns away and this fucking giant enters the ring and has a fight with Hino. It's like impossible to miss, and you can even feel it on the floor. These are two giants getting slammed on the floor and like having hard strikes. So yeah, as for the finish, this is the top spot of the match. Second spot of the match, I'm just gonna say it now. It's like the double tag team move, the clothesline and spear combination by Sasaki and Kanon. And as for the number one spot, it's the finish. It's when Sasaki misses an elbow drop, we get a series of counters, and then it ends with a crossface that is rolled and then stays on, leading to the submission of Oishi. So yeah, after the match, Damnation want to like permanently take out Oishi, but his like tag team partner with a skateboard shows up. He's not very impressive looking, but we'll see in his matches. He does a nice enziguri. They manage to repel Damnation, and then they cut a promo. They announce that they're going for the 6-man tag team championships. End of segment. So yeah, this might be the third best match of the card. TV undercard, pay-per-view undercard. And so after this is a big match. It's like 4v4. So it's Soma Takao, Yukio Sakaguchi, Harashima, and Sanshiro Takagi against Tetsuya Endo, Jun Akiyama, Yusuke Okada, and Takeshi Masada. So 2 young lions very high up in the card. There was a lot of one-upsmanship. Soma Takao and Jun Akiyama are barely in the match. Akiyama does like a knee and then tags out, while Soma Takao does a lot of nothing and then tags out. Masada was the punching bag. He was like the whipping boy until the president, for some reason, ends up on the top rope and then gets his ass kicked when he like tries to go for the dive instead of like stopping Masada. You know what? I appreciate Sanshiro Takagi. He plays a good fool. He's like the leader of this locker room and this company, and he's willing to make himself look like a jackass in all of his matches, and he like never fails to entertain. There were also some nice teamwork spots even as the match broke down. But I don't like when everyone has to go inside the ring and break up a pin and then go out again. That's so dumb. Just have one person break up a pin. Or even just kick out. But yeah, Harashima, I don't believe that like this 48-year-old can still be this agile and as good in the ring as like most of his peers. He has really good in-ring charisma, and I think he should at least show up on AEW at least once. Endo is the clear number 3 of the company, but he isn't given much chance to show it in this match. Sakaguchi is the best kicker in the company. He's like this shoot-style wrestler, but he's very unique in the company, and it'll be interesting how he faces off against the champion because he's the one who ends up challenging the winner of the main event. And now for the Young Lions, Yusuke Okada is not the most good-looking dude, but he has a lot of in-ring charisma, and he's alright in the ring. And plus, he looked really capable against Sakaguchi. And as for Masada, he still needs a bit of training. He's still very young, but he does have like the building blocks or like the foundations to be like a star if the dude just bulks up. So yeah, the finish is a running knee by Sakaguchi to Okada for the win. So yeah, this match isn't better than the last one, but it's alright. It's like TV undercard pay-per-view opener. It was too messy. 2 of the guys in the match didn't get like proper shine, and it could have used like a longer match time. And also the Young Lions should not have been part of this match. They should have been like lower on the card. And so the spots of the match are Harashima trying to shame Masada while doing a camel clutch. Number 2 is the teamwork attack on Sakaguchi, and number 1 is the finish. Very well delivered, and I wonder how this is gonna look against the winner of the World Championship. So yeah. And then we get to the semi-main and the main event matches of the card. And these 2 matches are enough to sell you to the show. They're really fucking good. They're worth the price of admission if you actually paid for the tickets to go to this event. Or they're worth paying a monthly subscription for in Wrestle Universe. You'll also get Noah, Tokyo Joshi Pro, and Gambare. So yeah. So after this, we have a match for the DDT Universal Championship between Yuki Ueno and Kara Noir. And I'm a big fan of Yuki Ueno since he's Kota Ibushi Jr. and he has the potential to be even better. Number 1, he has that look, and he's kind of bigger as well. He's also not plagued by injuries, as well as the stigma of comedy wrestling that American fans hate so much. And as for Kara Noir, I've never seen this guy wrestle before, but I love his fucking gimmick. It's like a Swan Lake Black Swan ballet dancer who fucking enters to the song, like that Swan Lake song. And then to add to this, And to add to this, he kind of looks like a pompous British ass, and it totally fits the gimmick. Because who else would fucking parade around with Swan Lake as a theme, peacocking all over the place? A pompous ass. And I've only seen him through like vignettes from Peter Pan, so I was surprised how huge he is. He has a main event physique, and he has that look if he drops the gimmick, and that's probably what's gonna happen if he decides to move to a bigger company. If it's the WWE, he's gonna lose the gimmick. If it's in AEW, he isn't. But I think to be a bigger star, you can't have the gimmick. I'm sorry. Or like polish it up. But as for the match, I love the start of the match. It's so British indie wrestling. It's so millennial. Because like they opened the match with the Korean heart thing. And I would have cringed if Ueno answered back with the same thing. With that fucking K-pop Korean heart thing. But instead, like a true babyface, he does neck power! But when the match actually starts, again, it's British indie wrestling. He also has like a front drop kick that is as good as Athena's, and it looks like he is as athletic as Will Ospreay, or like a Dante Martin, and then he's kind of like almost as strong as a Cesaro. I mean, of course, Cesaro is a freak, but he's like 90% of that. He can carry a lot of dudes, he can execute his moves very smoothly, and he can sell also, if he chooses to, which was pretty lacking in this match. The selling was not very good, a bit inconsistent by both dudes, but mostly Noah. They go for a show stealer, so I guess that's more excusable. But yeah, he has this technical British wrestling style that I didn't expect from the gimmick. So we have like a baby Zack Sabre Jr. Will Ospreay against a baby Kota Ibushi. This match was fucking sick. So the match was very fast paced, they go for a lot of moves in rapid succession, and I can't really narrate everything that happens because it was a show stealer. They go from spot to spot really quickly. So I'll just note out a couple that I like. Okay, so I forgot like the order of like this happening, but some honorable mentions are the coffin drop rear naked choke, the running catch rear naked choke that ends with a snapmare that makes Cara Noir land on his head. This spot was sick. And then number 3 is the body hang spot that Brody King does on Darby Allin, followed by a Frankensteiner by Yuki Ueno. Like he gets out of this and then he does a Frankensteiner. Number 2 is a half Nelson, countered by a snapmare followed by a series of counters, a German suplex, double clothesline, and then finally Chekhov's gun moment, a half Nelson suplex. And then for the number 1 spot of the match, it's an avalanche neckbreaker, just like the one that Okada does. Actually, no, it's not. It's more like a suplex from there, but it also like has the opponent land on his knee. And he does this from the top turnbuckle, and it was sick. Highest impact spot of the match, and it looked really good. And it looked like no one was hurt, so yeah. So the finish of the match is a big boot and then a reverse DDT that Ueno does. So yeah, this match is pay-per-view undercard only. It was so good. It also shocked me. I didn't expect someone with this gimmick to be this good. I thought this was gonna be a one-match show, but it's a two-match show. But I already enjoyed this match more than most of the matches except the main event, and maybe the tag team championships the juniors won in Grand Ship. So yeah, for the last match of the night, this might be the fastest wrestling review that I do. We're going on 18 to 19 minutes. Okay, so the last match is Kazusada Higuchi versus Konosuke Takeshita. And I'm just gonna say this now. This is the best match of the weekend. It beats everything in Grand Ship and it's not even close. You could say that this was more Noah than the Noah main event. And it defeated everything in AEW. Konosuke Takeshita is the one. He's Okada. I would like to think Keno is, but Konosuke Takeshita is just like next level. And as for Kazusada Higuchi, he's more of a Shibata. A Shibata who does a lot more. So yeah, fuck, DDT has maybe now the 2 best Japanese wrestlers. Who are also like big dudes. One guy is like 28 and then the other is like early 30s. And now they have Cara Noir and Yuki Ueno, plus Harashima, plus fucking Naomi Yoshimura. Yeah, things are looking bright for DDT. All of their best wrestlers are so young. As well as Harashima, who's 48, is still super good. But yeah, let's stop with that sidetrack and let's get on to the match. So this is a fast-paced, hard-hitting, show-stealer main event match. It feels to me like the natural evolution of the classic Japanese wrestling matches. The Kobashi, Misawas, Four Pillars of Heaven, Three Musketeers stuff. Because these are big dudes who fucking sell really well. Maybe Higuchi with the facial expressions more than Takeshita. Takeshita's like facial charisma isn't really there yet, but he's capable of like better in-ring work, while Higuchi has like the facial expressions down. And there's also like an underlying storyline to the match. Higuchi is a traditionalist while Takeshita is like the more modern, progressive sort of dude. And so Higuchi is like a lot more power while Takeshita is like more breathtaking. But they're both really stiff. They both bring it in terms of the physicality of the match. But yeah, to start the match, they go for bombs. We have this awesome spot where like Higuchi is taken out by a forearm by Konosuke. They also do this like Kiyomiya-like spot that it happened like before, so I'm gonna have to call it like a Konosuke versus Higuchi spot. The dive spot that he does, where he jumps off of the rope without touching it to the outside with Higuchi like over there. I still feel the same way about this. It's too dangerous. Like, why not just use the ropes? Same effect. But yeah, Higuchi does some outside dives. They both do outside dives. The start of the match was fucking awesome. They got to the business right away. They didn't even go for like the lockups. This is what I expected Japanese wrestling to be. It has that stiffness that is missing from the Grand Ship main event. And yeah, there are also some good facial expressions from Higuchi, especially in this spot where Konosuke Helluva kicks him, and then he no-sells it. His eyes open like 100%, and it looks like he's about to kill him. So when Konosuke runs for like another Helluva kick, Higuchi follows right away, follows up with a clothesline on the side, and then he is Blue Thunder bombed by Takeshita. And yeah, another spot in the match candidate is when Higuchi goes for this running shoulder block, and Takeshita jumps over him, and then turns it into a pin, lifts him up for the powerbomb, and then goes for the knee, but is powerbombed himself by fucking Higuchi. So innovative, but also like so fucking impactful. They also sell this. If anyone complains that these types of matches don't register, these guys sell. It might not be as good as like Four Pillars of Heaven, but it's close to that. And then I love how Takeshita sells the big push. He like flies up in the air and then goes back down, using the corner as leverage. And yeah, after this specific one, Higuchi goes for another one, but is kneed to the face. And then there's so much back and forth here. It's all high impact stuff, high stakes stuff. And this is closed out when Takeshita hits the fucking top turnbuckle with the knee, and then he like falls outside. He hits the turnbuckle and then he's launched outside. This was insane. And when they're outside, right, there's this another spot. Like, this was a spot fest for heavyweights where they sell everything. There's this one where, you know what, Higuchi doesn't sell because he's a power dude. He's a fucking monster. This is how you build a monster. So this spot is when Takeshita pulls Higuchi to the corner, like head-on steel collision, and then Higuchi just pauses. He just pauses, takes it in, no-sells it, and then headbutts Takeshita after. Holy fucking shit, this was amazing. This guy's the new but safer Shibata. And so Konosuke bleeds, and then we get a lariat spot. The same one, the 3 successive ones, that ended Endo in Peter Pan. The really stiff ones, but it was stiffer for Endo. But the end of this one is like a hard running lariat, while in that one, it's just like a standing lariat by like Higuchi. And then we get top spot of the match. Higuchi goes for a chokeslam from the top. Konosuke sells it with sounds that he's choking. Yeah, this happens. Someone actually sells that they're choking. Like auditorily. Like, you could hear Konosuke like going like that. And then when Higuchi goes for the fucking chokeslam, Konosuke counters it into a Hurricane Rana, and then a running knee, pin, kick out. And then he follows it up with a German suplex, kick out at 2. All of you fuckers who think DDT sucks because of the comedy. Because somehow, this like one piece of comedy that happens taints an entire promotion. That's like the stupidest shit. That's the stupidest fucking logic that I've ever heard. Everyone can be redeemed. And fucking Takeshita and Higuchi had a fucking banger. They had everything you fucking old fans like. Except maybe fucking wristwatches, but we're not in 1960 or 1980. We're in the future. This felt like a fucking fight. So yeah, they have a strike battle where they get tired, like they start to miss, but then they throw some stiff bombs, some headbutts. And yeah, this is a fight. This has a fight feel to it. But it's established that Higuchi has a harder head. So Takeshita loses the strike battle. And this sets him up for the finish. A weakened Takeshita going for like running knees. But Higuchi delivering a shoulder block. He just lands on Takeshita, one arm out for the cover and the win. They're both out in the end. So yeah, let's get to the spots of the match. Number 3 is the hard head hit to the corner post outside. I already explained why this is awesome, so yeah. Second is the final strike battle that leads to the ending. All the fatigue is there. They pour their hearts and souls out to just maim each other. And they do. And it leads to the finish. And then for the number 1 spot of the match, it's the Avalanche chokeslam that gets countered into a Hurricane Rana. Highest impact spot of the match. There is no other spot here that can top this. It's like the Jericho spot on Dynamite against Claudio. But here it's a fucking chokeslam, my man. And it looks so much better. And yeah, they shake hands in the end. I think Takeshita is preparing to go back to AEW. He then puts him over, and then Takeshita leaves. And then after this, fucking Aoki comes out to congratulate him. We think he's gonna challenge him because he won that triple threat a while ago. And I don't know exactly for what title. It just says in like the match card that... Wait a minute. It says in the match card that anytime, anywhere, challenging right 3-way match. So I guess it's for any fucking title. So Aoki, even if he's like an MMA guy, he's like a comedy guy in DDT. So I can only imagine what's the match gonna be. And if Higuchi can excel in a comedy match. Because this guy didn't do that well against Takanashi. So what about with Aoki, who's now like pheromones, kind of. Yeah, but instead, it's just like congratulations, he eventually leaves, and then Sakaguchi enters the ring. I think his like friend, a faction mate. He cuts a promo and then it's set. And so this matchup is going to be interesting. Higuchi is obviously going to win, but I don't know how Sakaguchi's style will work in like the main event level, because he does mostly our kicks as well as like shoot style, so his moveset is a bit limited. So I guess he's gonna be taking more damage than he's gonna dish out, or he's gonna dish out a lot and then still lose. That would make him look strong and it would lead to a better match. But yeah, it's probably gonna be stiff as fuck, and I'm gonna watch that match and review it. So yeah, he accepts, he bows, and then he leaves the arena, and that is the show. Yeah. Compared to Grand Ship, the main event here and the semi-main is so much better. I had a blast watching this show, even if the match quality for most of it wasn't that good. I would still watch it over like matches that are the same, pretty much. It was only broken up by the main event. So yeah, this is not the best DDT show that I watched. Peter Pan still takes the cake, but this might be a match of the year candidate. It's certainly match of the week. And it's the best match that I reviewed in the channel. Out of everything I fucking watched. Out of everything from AEW. Out of everything from Pro Wrestling Noah. From Cyberfight. From all of that. This was the best match that I've reviewed. The main event between Kazusada Higuchi and Konosuke Takeshita. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm probably not going to be seeing you guys in like 2 weeks. I might do a mini review of AEW Dynamite, but that's pretty much it for 2 weeks. And I'm going to have to finish this video tomorrow, so yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe for engagement. Share if you do not know me. Hit that bell notification for future videos, and please, watch my shit.